The next thing to learn about multimedia are the different audio file types. So there's different file types for audio also. And I'm not sure if we covered this or not, but I'm also going to talk a little bit about how we sample audio and create audio. I think we may have already talked about it. All right, so some of those audio file formats that are out there like WAV, AIFF, M4A, MP3, which I'm sure you've heard of, AAC, MP4, and if you go to Wikipedia, you can see all of the different audio file formats. And so like WAV is the file format that's used on CDs. You know, MP3 is the most common sound file format used today. So you can read about these. You know, AIFF is audio file format used by Apple, right? Can be considered the Apple equivalent of the WAV. So WMA is Windows Media Audio, created by Microsoft. There we go. So those are different audio file formats. When you create audio, basically what the computer is doing is like with images, we're looking at each pixel. And each pixel, we're going to say each pixel is going to be a color. And we need to, you know, remember what color that is. And so if the bit depth for each color is just 1 bit, then we could have one of 2 possible colors, right? And if the bit depth is 2 bits, we could have one of 4 possible colors. And so there's the pixel, it's going to be a color, and we got to store information, what color that 1 pixel is going to be. And so the more pixels we use, the more possible colors that 1 pixel, or the more bits we use, the more possible colors that 1 pixel could be. Well, it's very similar with audio. So with audio, every second we take samples of the sound. And that's called the sampling rate. So here's the audio sample rate. If you look for images of it on Google, this is what you come up with. And so like right here, let's just say, you know, 1 second, here's time, right? And here's the sound wave. And then here are these samples that occur. And maybe you've heard the phrase 44.1 kilohertz. I think that's the sampling rate for CD quality audio, right? Like you get on CDs. And that means 44,100 times a second, right? It's taking a measure of what this sound looks like, 44,100 times a second. And so for each of those measures, then we got to store that one precise sound. And if we use 1 bit to store the sound could be one of 2 possible sounds, like maybe low or high, right? If we use 2 bits, right, that one sample could be, you know, 4 possible sounds, because with 2 bits, you could store 4 things. And so the bit depth, or the audio resolution, right, so that's known as audio resolution or audio bit depth, is how many bits are stored for each one of these samples. So we're taking 44,100 samples a second of what the sound sounds like, and for each sample, we're storing exactly what that sound is, and we're using bits to do that, 0s and 1s. And so, you know, the audio bit depth or the resolution is how many 0s and 1s, how many bits do we use to do that. So that's a little bit about sound and sound file formats. MP3 is the most popular, you know, and the other thing which I think is interesting to point out is if you go to Google and you search for audio ripper, you could start to find things like how do I, you know, or you could search for, you know, you could also search for how do I download songs from YouTube. There we go, right? And what you'll do is if you search for this, or if you search for audio ripper, you'll start to find software that will listen to YouTube videos and download the song as an MP3 or whatever file format you want, which is, you know, an amazing and interesting way to get audio for free. But of course, you want to respect people's intellectual property. I'm teaching you a tool, and how you choose to use it is your ethical decision, because maybe some instances it'll be fine, like downloading my lectures. If you want to take them with you and listen to them, that's fine. But, you know, is it ethical to download somebody's song when they're actually selling that, and then you got it without paying for it? So, and you can also use different audio rippers to take CDs and turn them into MP3s, or take them from MP3s and turn them into CDs. So that's something else which you should know about. I cannot recommend any audio rippers right off the top of my head, but I can recommend Download, because Download is a good source to get stuff. So you might check that out. All right, that's a little bit about audio.